A dying soldier is injected with a vial of black serum. His body immediately undergoes a bizarre transformation. Not only are all his wounds rapidly healed, but even bullets and blades can no longer penetrate his skin. At first glance, he looks like a bloodthirsty, brutal war machine. Welcome to the 2025 latest release of the sci-fi thriller drama Sentinel Soldiers. In 1915, France is retreating step by step under the fierce German offensive. The flames of war have destroyed vast forests and villages. On this smoke-filled battlefield, French soldier Ferro suddenly wakes up from a coma. The area is full of enemy soldiers clearing the battlefield, and the sound of rifle shots echoes from time to time. Ferro lies motionless on the ground, not daring to move. Suddenly, a German soldier beside him regains consciousness. Although Ferro manages to kill him, the noise attracts the attention of other enemy troops. Ferro dashes toward the Allied base under a hail of bullets. A shell explodes right next to him, filling his ears with a deafening roar. He cannot hear his comrades' urgent warnings and tragically steps on a landmine. When he wakes up again, Ferro is already in a field hospital behind the lines. His entire body is wrapped in bandages. A doctor brings a message from his wife saying she wants to visit him. Ferro refuses without hesitation. He does not want his wife to see him in his broken state. The doctor leaves a photo behind. It shows Ferro's wife holding their newborn baby. Ferro's legs go weak and he collapses to the floor in exhaustion. That same night, several military personnel arrive at the hospital. They claim to have the highest authorization to select a few wounded soldiers to take away. Ferro watches as a woman approaches a patient. As the medical staff injects him with a substance, the patient begins to tremble violently, then quickly falls silent. The woman then walks over to Ferro and casually injects him with the same serum. Ferro's breathing becomes rapid, and his pupils gradually turn black. After confirming that Ferro is still alive, the woman and her companions carry him out of the hospital. After a night of travel, Ferro is taken to a secret laboratory in Paris. The chief researcher personally comes to see him. He says Ferro is the most special test subject in this batch. He actually remained conscious after the injection. Ferro does not care about that. He wants to know what they intend to do with him. The woman with glasses who brought him here turns out to be the chief researcher's daughter. She comforts Ferro, telling him not to worry. Here they can heal all his injuries. Ferro appears to accept the situation on the surface, but he remains deeply vigilant inside, especially at night when miserable screams often echo through the corridors. Struggling to his feet, Ferro tries to sneak out of his room to investigate. Soldiers patrol the hallway regularly. His departure is quickly noticed. He instinctively hides in the nearest room, only to see a man covered in blood. Ferro's heart sinks to the bottom, and his legs tremble uncontrollably. Is this going to be his fate? Ironically, while French forces are losing ground at the border, the center of Paris remains lively and peaceful. At a lavish party attended by wealthy businessmen, a man named Lothar greets everyone warmly. Only when he enters a secluded private room does he drop his act. It turns out Lothar is a spy. His employer has paid a fortune and demands that he obtain the laboratory's defense layout within 24 hours. The spy leader's face turns grim. The laboratory's security is far tighter than expected. It seems they will have to use extreme measures. In the main hall of the party, a glamorous woman is demonstrating her superpowers to the crowd. She can control other people's actions from a distance. Although the gun she uses has no bullets, it is enough to show her power. Surprisingly, this woman with supernatural abilities is one of the spy leader's subordinates. Through tonight's banquet, she finally locks onto a target, a researcher from the laboratory. She slowly picks up a pre-prepared photo and activates her ability again. The man's consciousness is instantly taken over. Through his shared vision, she sees the laboratory's floor plan and a guard duty roster on the table. She copies everything down. With these two items, the laboratory's defenses will be rendered useless. Back in the laboratory, Ferro has been returned to his ward. This time, the laboratory director, Colonel Milo, personally appears. He tells Ferro bluntly that they are secretly developing a unique serum capable of turning the tide of the war. Unfortunately, very few people can adapt to it, but Ferro is one of them. Colonel Milo gives him a choice: return to the hospital to face amputation and disfigurement, or stay and accept another possibility. If Ferro can endure the subsequent injections, not only will his injuries be completely healed, but he will also gain superhuman strength and become a member of the Sentinel Special Forces. Every person there is a superhuman who has successfully undergone the experiment and enjoys the highest honors bestowed by the nation. Hesitating for less than 3 seconds, Ferro ultimately chooses to stay. Perhaps no injured soldier could refuse such temptation, but as he lies on the experimental table, memories surface in his mind. The previous black serum injection was only an appetizer. The actual experimental dosage is shockingly large. Ferro feels as if his body is about to explode. His blood vessels expand rapidly, and all his vital signs surge. The chief researcher's face darkens. He realizes the experiment is about to fail and slowly picks up a gun, preparing to end Ferro's suffering. Suddenly, Ferro lets out a miserable scream and his heartbeat stops. As the room falls silent, gunshots suddenly erupt outside the laboratory. The German forces who have obtained intelligence have broken in. They know the layout perfectly and move through the corridors as if no one is there. Colonel Milo senses the situation is hopeless and orders the researchers to evacuate. He himself returns to his office. The most confidential files and data in the safe must not fall into enemy hands. Meanwhile, the German soldiers are rampaging through the laboratory, strictly following orders to leave no survivors. A German soldier kicks open the door to the treatment room and sees Ferro on the operating table. Without hesitation, he stabs him. At that moment, Ferro suddenly opens his pitch-black eyes. Malti, hiding under a desk, witnesses everything. When another squad of soldiers enters the medical room, they only see the corpse of their comrade on the floor. In his panic, Malta knocks over a test tube on the table. The crisp sound attracts the soldiers' attention. Suddenly, the bandaged Ferro appears silently behind them. His limbs possess terrifying strength. Even when shot, he shows no reaction. Even the chief researcher is burned alive. Colonel Milo is deeply shocked when he hears about Ferro's heroic performance. No previous test subject had ever achieved this. He orders Malte to closely monitor Ferro's condition and report every hour. Malta asks if they should notify his wife. Colonel Milo shakes his head and says he will handle it. Soon after, a French soldier delivers a death notice for Ferro to his wife at the newspaper office. Meanwhile, in the laboratory, Ferro suddenly begins to tremble. That terrifying power awakens on its own. In a trance, he sees a soldier clad in battle armor. The other party also senses Ferro's existence and speaks fluently. When the time is right, I will personally eliminate those sentinels. It seems the German military also has hidden secret weapons. The news of the laboratory attack enrages the French high command. They mobilize all available resources and finally identify the key figure behind the incident, the spy leader Gruber, a top German agent. The superiors order Colonel Milo to launch a secret operation to capture him alive. In the laboratory, Ferro once again shows his extraordinary nature. In just a few days, all his wounds have fully healed, leaving only a few scars on his face. Ferro apologizes to Malta, remembering that he nearly strangled him that day. Malta kindly replies that there is no need. Many people experience brief mental and physical loss of control after their first serum injection. Once the body adapts, it will not happen again. Ferro requests to see his wife and son. Malta says he does not have the authority, and that Colonel Milo's approval is required. Dressed in a clean, neat uniform, Ferro goes to the colonel's office. According to the prior agreement, he should now officially join the Sentinel Special Forces. However, before that, Ferro wants to see his family. Colonel Milo clearly states it is impossible. In the record, Soldier Ferro has already died in battle. This is the case for every member of the Sentinel unit. The purpose is to ensure the absolute secrecy of the serum project. Ferro tries to argue that his wife can keep a secret, but Colonel Milo kindly reminds him that German spies are everywhere. Keeping his wife unaware is actually the best protection for her. The colonel promises that once the war ends, Ferro will reunite with his family as a national hero. With the matter put this way, Ferro can only reluctantly agree. Meanwhile, Ferro's wife refuses to believe her husband has died so quietly. She continues searching for information about him. She even volunteers to go to the front lines as a war correspondent just to see his body with her own eyes. In the laboratory, Malte continues to carefully study Ferro's blood samples. He discovers that Ferro's cells are fusing with the serum, but as the research deepens, Malte becomes increasingly shocked. Ferro's cells have undergone mutation after fusing with the serum. Ferro has now been sent to the frontline Sentinel camp. This is where France's most elite troops are stationed, the Sentinel Special Forces, created with the military's full resources. On the surface, they look ordinary, but Ferro knows they have all successfully undergone the serum transformation and possess power far beyond human limits. On his first day in the unit, Ferro receives his own special equipment, armor forged from rare metals. It looks lightweight but has defensive power equivalent to 2-inch thick steel plates. The matching helmet provides supreme protection while also featuring built-in serum injectors on both sides for extra support during combat. These serum-enhanced warriors, combined with powerful specialized gear, become godlike killing machines on the battlefield. It is no wonder the French High Command pins their hopes of turning the tide on them. The only regret is that the serum experiment has a very low success rate. The number of Sentinel members is still insufficient to decide the outcome of the war. For now, they can only be used as special squads for high-risk missions. That afternoon, intelligence decodes a secret German communication. The unit that attacked the laboratory will withdraw at 6 p.m. The commander of this unit is none other than the spy Gruber, who stole the critical intelligence. The Sentinel squad quickly receives orders. Capture him alive at all costs. Ferro will join the special team on this mission.